Hey. Good morning to everyone. So here we are this morning hosting Do Tulku, who is in Germany currently. And he will be speaking, as we know, on Shamatha and also engaging with us in practice. And he had asked earlier if everyone would so kindly turn on their video so that he could see us and that we could all be part of the group practice. So mostly everyone has theirs turned on, and some of you might not be able to for one reason or another. And then there are two people whose name says iPhone, and on those, if there's a way they could identify themselves, that's very good. But otherwise, all right, very good. So Rinpoche, many of you already know him or know of him, and I will just say very briefly, even extracted from the smallest biography, that Rinpoche was recognized by His Holiness Tsechen at the age of 17, and that was as a reincarnation of the fifth Raktrul Rinpoche. And that incarnation line goes back all the way to the first Raktrul Rinpoche in the 17th century. And he was a master of the Doteng monastery in eastern Tibet. So then after that, Rinpoche's life changed, I think, rather immediately, and he began his 11-year training at Dzongtse Kensei Choki Lodro Institute in India, and then completed his studies there with the title of Lopon or Acharya. And so now we know that he has been guiding retreats the world over, and he has come to New Mexico. Great blessing for us on the very day that we were able to purchase our retreat house. He did a blessing on the land, and then at 6 p.m. we got the message that everything had gone through. So we're looking forward to hosting him in late September in person. So at that point we will, or close to that point, we'll be forwarding the information about what teachings he'll be giving and the locations and times, etc. So hope that if you can maybe free up some time at the end of September, we'll be letting you know, and it'll be great to see everyone in person in New Mexico. So Rinpoche, whenever you wish to go, here we are. Yeah.
Oh, let's so touch the leg.
Hi, Rinpoche.
So nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for that introduction. It might shatter your perception of me, but I have never once really seriously thought that I am some sort of rebirth of an accomplished meditator. I hope not, because if this is this is the result of after lifetime of contemplation, then that's it's not good. But yeah, I guess since I really believe in life after death, I do, and I feel maybe somehow I was connected to one or two of these great beings, maybe in a bug they crushed while going to their hermitage, something like that. Or else, for example, today, this topic, Shamatha, I have chosen this topic, Shamatha, because it makes me so uncomfortable, because it's like the basic foundation of Dharma practice, yet it is something that I have always sort of mm, 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 overlooked wouldn't be entirely correct, but haven't really managed to practice properly. And so day by day, I feel the weight of time. It's just like this giant machine that just won't stop for nobody. And there were times in my life when I thought, oh, by the time I'm 30, surely I would have, accomplished something. I was so naive. I really thought that. Well, then I thought, surely by 40, it doesn't really seem likely anymore. So now I'm thinking surely by 60. Like if I live by that long, surely by 60 I can sort of meditate at least for 5 minutes, with no distraction. Of course, that's really not. It's not because I think of myself as being so, what do you call it, incapable, imbecile, basically. Not really like that, or that I do not trust this path, or I think that these teachings, these techniques, these methods of speaking to one's own mind is not potent enough. It's just, I don't know, it's just the days, day by day. There's just so much going on. I'm always so afraid of missing out. When I go somewhere else, I feel I'm missing out on my children's life, my friends here and there. And then with my children, my friends are receiving special teachings from our teachers, that I'm not receiving, I'm not getting. There's just the amount of, what do you call it, distraction. It's really quite, it's not nice. I did not want it to start this, talking, teaching like this. 강아지 스르조가지로는 만들어는 진짜 땡기는 거 보여주면 맛있어 싸우는 걸로는 강인다 강제를 벌주로 접드가 버리 버진 바 강인 바 대다 탐지 터버 탐비 그러죠 특别숨인지는 드르시 가다 그러면 mem지 왕보다 제진로 수지 쳐라 자와지번 상계 수로럽도 시신 대로 줄줄 봐 대다 시지 탐비 춘인지는 드르시 강다 초주동게 지대는 대줄 넘어져 봐 강소가 댕들 뜸비 주지 철벽지 년버되고 탐지 드르시시 남모 라이게도 넣는지 두분다도 미 전남도 조건지 전남지 잠버 탐지께도 타기 철된도 빨된사를 아마른 거치 타기 주로 빼면 되죠 kadin shimbe gune jesunde gozon tuje ngodrop zaldo tapte tuje shache risu chung shinjimi tuje pongjamba serju lumbo tabru jibi gu shache jabe shabla chapsa lo chapton kollu jibe jabo don jenong na wazam sangem kana kanti tela tirden tsumba chere zela chapsa seji jawatamji ji shi bumbu chik de basi ji kun jiba jirbe jambe ola chapsa kanchi tuni shinje panyala zon dawan tani chojer jerje doje chana chapsa korwaledo tarema to darai jijedu torena onamuldo domayum da chapsalu sheje tamje zbe jaya bodo gunjile dube tuje samye tilezbe tomo jangyol na meja blog gon chance so de sinema kinsewa just sonche la machenza shinje loje temin kaula ma kinsewa sudre sigda channel la machenza de channel terjendani la majambo Tulku Ning Color, Namsam Kangi Chapman, Nisen Touch, Tambe Member, taking from the Suzuki. Yasutu Namdrol subject Jachetala, Nirso to Yapting in the Russian dollar, Reva Machikamenta. Minsen, Undu Jamaian Kube something Chichi to G, shooting the menu Jason Rangi, the Pese, Tatum, Chunim Major Pardo, Jaption, so Major. Oh, Jun of John, Pema Gazarodon, and then shooting Mudum, Pema Jonas. Cordo Kandamango, Chichi, just Tadu, the Shinji, Nature Shakes, Sol, Guru, Pemas, Usunama, Chopamonjan wardrobes and the General Zola, then Baljimper Jemez, Tunjan, some wardrobe, not Chopan wardrobes and right. Needless to say, since this is a Dharma gathering, first thing to do is to remember Siddhartha Gautama, supreme teacher, the one who opened the door of liberation for all of us. Completely enlightened, awakened, omniscient one. So we think of him, we invoke the completely awakened Buddha, and we invoke his blessing, his wisdom and compassion, his strength and power. So that not only today's teaching and practice is well accomplished, but his blessing to seep deep into our bone and marrow, reach deep into our hearts. And then motivation is necessary. Why Shamatha? Why listen to Shamatha? Why speak of Shamatha? Why practice Shamatha? Many times, of course, we have motivation. We have very good motivation. The motivation, if you ask any one of us here, probably say to become the Buddha, to be awakened, to be free, to be enlightened. These are all really good motivations. But they are motivations towards the result. They are more of aim and ambition rather than the path itself. Now we can think, I am on the path. And we can think, I want to liberate all beings. We can think, I want to become Buddha, completely free, awakened Buddha. But these are all very vague. Very vague. And knowingly we make these aspirations, we make these aspirations knowing that it's going to be very, very, very long time until we can actually do that. So it's not really something of consequence right now. It's like sitting somewhere and saying, I'm going to go somewhere. That's good. That's really the first step. Maybe one of the most important step. But eventually, we have to locate our feet. Where are they? We have to figure out, can I even stand? Can I even crawl, walk, run? Can I carry things? Do I have enough materials to last even just 10% of the road, the path? Now, motivation is becoming quite realistic. And then the most important is, what is the first thing I need to do right now? Because just saying I'm going to become Buddha, it's so vague. It really is vague. It's exactly like saying I want to be kind to everybody. That's just so vague. Until you come face to face with a criminal, that you truly despise, or with someone you have no respect, or with someone you feel towards whom you feel basically nothing, no aggression, no desire, nothing, indifference, totally. Then you really see that, okay, that was nice, that I was thinking I'm going to be kind to everyone and helpful and liberate everybody, but that's very far. It feels nice because it's vague, no immediate responsibility. But the truth is, then, when we come face to face with such difficulties, and this happens every day, people irritate us, people annoy us, disappoint us, and then you find that we are really not really contemplating benefiting them at that moment. So similarly here, thinking, oh, I'm going to become Buddha is so vague, and it is, and on one hand, it's really such a meritorious thing to do. It really is. Just visualizing Buddha, thinking about the name Buddha, and such things as, oh, I'm going to liberate all beings, or to have some sort of disillusionment sort of towards samsaric pursuits. These are good, but to be really effective, they are too vague. And so, what is it that's bothering me right now? What is it that's creating biggest obstacles for me right now? So that is what is the first step that is needed to be taken. And so, Shamatha, distraction, or antidote to distraction, is what is needed, direly needed. Like I was saying, I was not being, trying to, I was not saying, oh, I'm so distracted and I myself need this practice. That's why I really am trying to push this topic again and again, so I am forced to think about it, and every time I think about it, it brings me 1 inch closer to actually practicing and actually taking it seriously, not just to encourage you, not just to make you think like that. It really is a fact. This is called renunciation. This it's a very simple fact that the teachings that I've received up until now, now I don't know about you, and I don't want to. If you can think like that, and if it helps you, that's good. But for myself, someone like me, I need to be scolded. I need to be, you can tell me, oh, you're so good, and it's just all downhill from there. So the best way is just scolding myself and actually to think that those teachings that I've received, if I would have seriously practiced them the past 2.5 decades, by now something would have happened, and it's so to have to practice Shamatha, there are 2 kinds of motivation: renunciation and inspiration. Renunciation, it's really like you have to look for it too, though. You really have to look for it. If someone tells you, be careful of the color brown, or your color is brown, I don't know, these days, people have their own personal things. So let's say your color is brown, someone tells you, and this becomes a thing that you introduce yourself. Hi, my name is this, and my color is brown. You will notice brown everywhere. Sort of everywhere there is brown, that's the first thing you will notice because you're looking for it. It really is like that. And so to look for renunciation, you really have to sort of fabricate it a little bit. Think about, for example, here, Shamatha, and the benefits of the Shamatha, and the downfall of not having Shamatha, not being able to focus, not being able to concentrate and meditate. It renders us basically without any legs, without any eyes on the path. And all the glorious descriptions of the path is mere sort of like a fairy tale for us. It's mere stories. And then another kind of motivation is to be inspired. To be inspired when you think about the Buddha, and to think that all the qualities of that person, that being, everything was possible because of Shamatha. If Buddha would have never practiced Shamatha, awakening would have never happened. And all the benefit that he brought in this world would never even begin, sort of. And also by contemplating on the benefits of Shamatha and to have this courage, I can do this, I can do this, really. Millions and millions, billions of people have done this in the past, this world and all kinds of different worlds, and there will countless of beings who will accomplish this. So why am I so different? I can also do this. You really need to have some trust in yourself too. With that, then when you actually, if you have such strong motivation, meditation itself then is half finished. you will notice that when you meditate without strong motivation, like it's something that you just have to do every 9:30 a.m., that is just, even if your focus concentration is good, it's going to be very temporary and not really pushing you further on the path. So I would really suggest to try and get into a proper motivation. And whatever helps, if it helps you to first visualize on the Bodhisattvas and your gurus, whoever that inspires you, and think that in front of these beings, under their watch, I'm going to practice and I'm going to be guided by them and so on, then be it so, do that. That's the reason why before then such practice, first thing we do is then take refuge. We take refuge in Buddha Dharma Sangha. Okay. First to bind our mind. Please try and sit straight. Posture is important. And not too tense. When you're sitting, please make sure you're not, nothing is tense, not your thighs, your backbones, your shoulder, your neck. It's like a perfect balance between holding them together without really sort of gripping, so holding them together just enough that they don't fall apart. However you're sitting, they just don't go like this. But not really also contracting your muscles. When you find sort of a center, then for the next couple of minutes, please do not move. Just don't move, please. Thank you very much. Of myriad shamatha practices, and we know that there are different shamatha practices in sutra, hundreds of different, and also in Vajrayana there's so many different methods and means to accomplish samatha. We are going to focus on the methods taught, one of the methods taught in the Satipatanasutta. First of all, what is meant by shamatha is, shamatha, the definition of shamatha is mikpala sensichibulo, a mind that is one pointed upon the object of meditation. That's the definition of shamatha. So when you have that, and not just for a moment, but when you are focused on an object, nothing can distract you in that moment. And you actually accomplish shamatha, any form of shamatha, to be honest. There are so many physical, mental result. Even the way you speak change. And things that you would have thought is impossible until then seem very much possible. And even things that would normally be considered like like just some stories or like a miracle, suddenly no longer seems to be like a miracle, but something that's totally normal. Knowledge begin to sort of appear in your mind, and the more you meditate and concentrate, the more you begin to know about your surroundings, and slowly you begin to remember things of past, many lives, and things of future. You begin to foresee.
Morning, how are you?
So
Good. You look great.
Thank you.
Please keep yourselves muted. Those who have accomplished samatha, would say sometimes that people, like, we wouldn't even know sort of the difference between them and a fully awakened being, because many of the things they would do and say would be so similar. So shamatha practice here, of course you can practice this so that you can be more sane, mentally healthy, and be calm, kind, someone who can sort of bring light in a room, sort of someone who does something good. Those are all good, but the actual motivation for samatha practice then has to be to actually accomplish samatha and to actually use it for what it is taught. So use it as a path. As Shantideva says, only with the samatha, only with shamatha and with vipassana together, someone can destroy all of their afflictions. And knowing this, the meditator first turns towards shamatha. And shamatha is accomplished by those who keep themselves away from desire. Maybe I should talk less. So, from Satipatanasutta, there are so many methods taught. Maybe some of those methods you might like. You can actually just check the text. Some methods are a bit. It's about contemplation on your body. It's a bit how to say, not so uplifting. So you see for yourself. This method is anapanasati, just focusing on the breathing, and it is said to be peaceful and sublime, because there are many different kinds of meditation sort of techniques, but not all are necessarily by nature peaceful. For example, contemplating on impermanence or impurity of our bodies, things like that. Not necessarily all the suffering of samsara. You can contemplate and focus on anything, but not necessarily they are peaceful and sublime. Whereas breathing is just it's so nourishing. The thing that we just cannot do without. We really need to breathe. When I said, please sit straight and try not to move. And one of the first thing you might notice is that you're breathing. When you try not to move, then the movements that are involuntary, like breathing and heartbeat, sort of come to the front. And you notice breathing. So, and it is also something that is always there. You cannot sort of get it from somewhere else. You do not have to fabricate it. It is always there. As long as you're alive, you're breathing. And as long as you're breathing, you can meditate wherever you are, in whichever state. So, and like I was saying, and also it's almost intoxicating. Those of you, I'm sure many of you are such good meditators that within a day or two, you begin to experience profound calmness that at some point you do not even know, cannot even notice. Am I really breathing? Or have I stopped breathing? I don't know. It's just become so calm and still. That's a different kind of bliss. It's a different kind of joy. Many times we do not really know what we want or what we would want until we know that thing. I think this kind of meditative experiences are one of those things that you really have to be there. You really have to see it for yourself and experience it for yourself, or else it's just So, focusing on the breathing, where Buddha says things like, or maybe I share screen. Somehow it is ending up like a lecture. Anyway. Here, this is from Satipatanasutta. the chapter is contemplation of the body. So here, Buddha says, and so now this teaching is given to a gathering of monks. And how, monks, does a monk dwell contemplating the body in the body? So this one of the methods of destroying affliction is mindfulness of the body. So he says how to meditate on mindfulness of the body is first then to have a mindfulness, and there for that, here monks, a monk who has gone to the wilderness or has gone to the root of a tree or has gone to an empty place, sits down after folding his legs crosswise, setting his body straight and establishing mindfulness at the front. It just means being mindful. Being very mindful, he breathes in. Mindful, he breathes out. That. And then, while breathing in long, he knows I am breathing in long. So in breath, inhalation. Or while breathing out long, he knows I am breathing out long, exhalation. Or while breathing out short, he knows I'm breathing out short. Or while breathing in short, he knows I am breathing in short. Or while breathing out short, he knows I am breathing out short. Experiencing the whole body, I will breathe in. Like this he trains. Experiencing the whole body, I will breathe out. Like this he trains. Calming the bodily process, I will breathe in. Like this he trains. Calming the bodily process, I will breathe out. Like this he trains. So here basically Buddha speaks about 4 stages. These are stages or 4 methods. They can be stages because you can go from the first to the second, the third, and the fourth. Or they are merely method. You can just practice the first or the last, the fourth, like that. So the first is basically, Siddhartha Gautama says that someone, that we sit somewhere and we breathe naturally. You do not fabricate. You need to fabricate here. You're going to breathe anyway. Like I was saying, this is something that is really most amazing. For almost a lot of other things, you need so many things, but to practice this, you just sit somewhere, anywhere, where there is no danger of distraction, less danger of distraction. So that is important. And then you sit there, watch yourself breathe. And if the inhalation, when you inhale, if it is long, now short and long, you can decide that by yourself. Basically, we have some sense of what is short and what is long, because we've been breathing our whole life. No one needs to be told that, like, this is short, and this is long. But if you're someone who still needs to measure, then you just decide by yourself that this is short and this is long. And so when you notice that, inhalation it's long. So you just notice long inhalation. And then when you exhale, exhalation is long. You just notice long exhalation. Then sometimes it is short. You are inhaling and exhaling, but they are short. And you notice that. Short inhalation, short exhalation. then the complete body, knowing the complete body, it doesn't mean this body, but the breath body of a breathing. When you're breathing, that's one body of inhalation. From the beginning, when you start pulling with your, with your lung and nostril, when the sort of the pull is done, that's one sort of body of inhalation. And you notice from the beginning till the end, till the sort of. Then you exhale, you notice the moment your muscles relax and you're just letting go. You can push if you want, like, or you don't. Better not. So just let breathing is going out. That's the beginning, the big sort of beginning of the body of exhalation, and then till the end when it's all done. This could be difficult for a lot of us, so we need to do this for a long time. The last one is then calming the body, calming the bodily functions, calming the body. This again doesn't mean physical body, but the breathing. That calming, when you inhale very calmly. You exhale very calmly. In the Vishuddhimagga book worth reading, Path of Purification, it is called. Path of Purification. You can just download it. It's just there. It's really the wealth of everything is just there, available. Vishuddhimagga, also in this sutra too, says that you can do like that, sitting and noticing it in breath, is it long or short, and just knowing that you do not alter, no need to alter, nothing, just noticing, breathing in, breathing out, like that, just noticing. And then whether it's long, short, entirety of it, or and then the fourth one, to calm. Although it is taught like this in the sutra, and also in the path of purification, you will find that you can practice like this. But these days, in practice, not just these days, but also in this text, you will see that in practice, then the first thing we are encouraged to do is to then start by counting the breathing. Let's do that. But we can just talk about it all the time. It's just wasting time. So try and sit straight. I really say this again and again. Your posture is so important. When you are sitting, you should hardly notice your body. Body should be cancelled out, so to speak. The focus is the breathing. So when you're breathing in, breathing out through your nostril, right? If you must breathe from your mouth, do that. That's okay. But preferably, breathe from your nostril. It has a quality. When you're breathing from your nose, you're calmer than you're breathing from your mouth. Anyway, that's some other topic, but when you breathe in, air goes in, and then breathe out. That's one. Let's do that for I will let you know when to stop. Please try and sit straight. With the motivation. Please count until 10 and then start again from 1 until 10. Start again from 1. Without getting distracted. Okay. I believe almost all of us reached till 10 and then we started again and 10 and started. Some of you may have done the whole thing 5 times. Now, sit again. The moment you find yourself getting distracted, go back to 1. Breathe. The moment you think, oh, distracted, go back to 1. Let's do that. Okay. How many reached 10? Right? How many reached 5? That's amazing. How many reached 2? Right. This time. Now this time, you are your God. I know nothing. So you have just watch your mind. Now this time, watch the inhalation starts, the middle ends, watch it. Then when that one sort of bundle is then 1, then go to the 2. Okay. All right, how about this? This time, when you're breathing in, this is easier. Breathing in, before you exhale, there is a gap. Watch if you're getting distracted during that also. And if you are, 2 again, 1, go back again. This is Shamatha. I don't know what to tell you. Please try and sit straight again. You guys are doing great, by the way. Some motivation candy. Please now sit straight. All right. Should I ask who reached where or not? Now you are now you are meditating. Now it's not awake. It's still vague, actually, really vague, but way better than before. Before you have an imaginary number in your head, 1, 2. You're more focused on the number than actual breathing. Now, numbers irrelevant. Maybe when you're really good, then you can count again. But more important is then noticing that between inhalation, exhalation, it's a very short window, and that's not guarded at all. Again, between exhalation and inhalation, again there is a gap. We're not thinking about that. During inhalation, most of us are focused either at the beginning or in the middle, not really so much at the end. This you have to notice by yourself. So then you're not letting your mind getting distracted anymore. It's not a visualization that you have to hold. No, you just have to watch it. Breathing. That's all. And let's have a break. I've been told that I don't. Yeah. Let's have a break of how long? April. You have to unmute yourself.
Rinpoche, whatever you need. Do you think 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or would you like longer?
Sure. It's morning time for you, right?
Yes.
All right. Let's say 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
다시 딜레라 다된 안주 베릭 미 펩돌 되네 다 가상어만 피지 센터페 용등 안주 피지 제여래라 야 라스 Have you questions? Please, if you have questions. I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please. Tsechen
Rinpoche,
Namdrol.
when we are doing the practice, engaging in the practice, whether we're counting or the several techniques that you mentioned, what if you do have a distracting thought? However, you're still engaged. You're still engaged having the counting taking place. Should you go back to the counting and go to the next number, or do you just say that is a distraction, period, I'm starting again? If it's a thought or whatever that comes in, I'm just trying to figure out what qualifies as a distraction.
Oh,
Yeah.
we didn't talk about it at all. You're right. Gosh, distraction. Anything that is not the breathing that's happening right now is a distraction. Even if you think about Buddha or something nice or something terrible, all distraction here. Actually, thoughts that are these kind of discursive thoughts are easy to detect and to know that you are getting distracted because they want attention. They jump to you, at you. Difficult is the dullness. You're just dull. And because you're dull, there is less thought and you think meditation is happening. You know, that happens more, bit more difficult to notice. Just this. In the sutra, Buddha, the translation is sloth. Sloth. I liked that. I like sloth. Jigme Khyentse Rinpoche, one of my teacher, not Dzongsa Khyentse Rinpoche, I must have hardly ever met such an uncompromising practitioner. I think I'm really certain that he really knows what he's saying. He really has experienced those things. And we were attending teachings from him about Shamatha actually for 3 days, and it was so hot, 300 people in one big tent. It was so hot. And he made us sit for half an hour the first day. For just half an hour, he said, just count. And he just sit there. And for him, I think it's so easy. And he advised us to always go back. The moment you find yourself that being distracted, you go back. So then he uses counting itself as the sort of the actual method. In the sutra, counting, there are 7 or 8 different methods of or stages, I should say, stages of meditation. The first is counting, because I guess it's easier for us. And then because we are imagining numbers when we're counting, we think we are focusing on breathing, but what we actually end up doing is anticipating the next number, sort of as if the numbers are passing by and you're just sort of holding them one by one. And so but he would make us do that, and sometimes we're just sitting there for 20, 30 minutes. I don't have courage to make you sit that long. I'm afraid that you will not like me anymore. But he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. And he does that. And then imagine for 25 minutes, half an hour, you cannot go beyond one. You cannot even say one. Because you just like, you think, let's start. Done. Okay, let's start. Done. Like the moment you're not too late. But then slowly you realize, now you're actually meditating. Now that's actually happening. Before, when you just like, oh, 1, oh, 2, like so easy, 10, and you have to be mindful, don't go beyond 10, wait, let's go back. Because sometimes you find yourself 14, 15, just like none of those problems now. You cannot even go beyond 1. It's like, how to say, getting now the purest, sort of making your focus very pure, bringing it to its sort of bare minimum, just that. And it's really worth it. I think it's really worth it if you feel, how to say, a bit of anguish, discouragement. You should really know, though that's so precious. Finally, we're getting discouraged because of the right reason for the first time in our life. So to go back, sorry, I forgot that I'm replying to a question. Yes, go back.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Yes, please.
So, does losing track of the numbers count as distraction?
Losing track of the number? Sure.
Getting too distracted by the breathing?
Yeah. Of course. I think it is exciting to know that it's only 10, no longer than 10. Because if you're just sitting and looking and breathing, could be discouraging though, like sometimes. If you're just doing that without any time limit. Now in those days they don't have phone alarm, so just the numbers. Yeah. So, but there are so many ways to awakening. If you keep forgetting numbers, you can forget about numbers too. And just watch the breathing. And it can be done anywhere, really, anywhere. You can be in a car, train, flight, middle of an argument, which is really difficult actually. It might even end up irritating your whoever you're arguing with. But yeah, it's just if you are going to count, then you have to count. or else there's distraction. Who else?
I think I might be asking the same question, but just for further clarification, is it the fact that some kind of thought arises at all? Or is it that we're paying it? Well, I guess if it arises, we're paying attention to it.
Yeah. Well, it's just finally you taking control of things. First thing then you need to do is, that's what happens, because our mind is neglected. It's in neglect for aeons. And it's, when you neglect something for so long, suddenly you want to take care of it. First, there is a lot of, what do you call them? First you have to notice what's wrong now. Something is wrong because I feel so much pain. I'm so bored. Something is wrong. And you can point externally. It's because of the war. It's because of this guy, that person, my job. But some point you have to admit that something is wrong for everybody in this world, everyone in this world. No one has the same job, no one has the same enemy, but everyone has the same problem. Mind. So then I guess it's then natural when you try and take control. You notice it's not easy. Mind is used to doing things its own way. And so first thing is you just notice. In the text here, in the path of purification, I think this was composed by a great meditator, actually. Quite old text. Path of purification tells you actually not to just stick with numbers, countings. But you should start with that, and when your counting becomes a bit sort of good, then you focus on the sensation. When you're breathing in, breathing out, air has to pass through your nostril. There is a contact. Watching that, then forgetting about counting. One of my teachers just taught me that, actually. He didn't tell me to count or anything. He said, you're alive, you're breathing, but so that's like this great resource of meditation. And then to actually watch that, and then when you're breathing in and breathing out, there is a contact between the air and your nostrils. And to watch that contact. Right. I asked him how long can he stay without distraction. He said about 90 minutes. It's a Japanese monk. How about that, 90 minutes? Yeah, Okay, then let's continue. We're running out of time. Let's do that then. First, we start breathing in and breathing out. And I admit, counting is actually really difficult. And so just watch the sensation of the air passing through your nostril and coming out of your nostril. Thank you. You should keep it short, your meditation. Do not keep it long. You can, if your concentration is good, then you keep it as long as you want. Or else, more and more distraction, your focus just becomes weaker and weaker if it's too long. Okay, where was the sensation? In the nostril. Yes, April.
What I was wondering, Rinpoche, is when you had mentioned it's on the same topic, purification. So is the purification, the nature of the purification, our awareness of the breath itself? Does that naturally purify our mind stream?
Yeah.
Or what aspect is the purification part? Mm-hmm.
Purification of mind. At this point, it's just you being aware of your breathing. It's not allowing a lot of harmful thoughts, desire, ignorance. That's purification. what happens is that for a moment you exist without any aggression. For a moment you're existing without any desire, without any planning, without fear, doubt. That's amazing. When we think about Buddha, how it sounds very strange. That man or person, being, has no fear, has no hope, has no thoughts even, like the descriptions, because all of these has crumbled. Doesn't mean he disappeared, sort of doesn't exist anymore. In the Theravada tradition, that's why they say, oh, he's no longer, Buddha is gone. The moment Buddha died, Buddha doesn't have any rebirth, no karma. So where is he? Just gone, vanished. We don't say that. Just because he's beyond our sphere and our way of being, these beings, doesn't necessarily mean that they do not exist anymore. That kind of state, you get a glimpse of into it. For example, when you really think about it, think of yourself being someone who has no self-grasping, who is utterly sort of completely forgiving, generous, tolerant, compassionate, also with wisdom, not just, and that you get a glimpse of it now when you're just watching the breathing. And you see that it is possible to exist without these emotions, without these agitations, and Somehow I've forgotten how to give short answers. I was really good at that. But anyway.
We love the teaching, Rinpoche, please. Don't stop yourself.
That's all. Now, so when you have questions, you just let me know. Or else, sitting again. Okay. I talked about motivation, importance of motivation. That's really the main driving force. That will actually decide what kind of meditation you practice you will have, your motivation. Then, for example, in the text, Buddha talks about the place. He says, either in a forest, a secluded place, or in a forest, or under the foot of a tree. And also then, Shantideva says, Pugam Lagan Tombam, and Junshin Natsal. Now I forget all the root text now. So like a cave or an abandoned temple. Like this is the Shantideva's idea of. So this is important to be somewhere where you will have sort of less distraction. We are so, what do you call it? Easy to be so impressionable. Anything can just press into our mind, into us. So it'll do us a lot of good if you actually find a corner just for you in your practice, if you can. Could be in your house, or just a corner where it is clean, not a lot, not like all kind of stickers and statues and everything piled up on a very messy table. Not like that. Clean. It's important somehow. I don't know why, but cleanliness is so important for us. When it's clean, it feels good. I don't know why. I'm really annoyed about that because I am not clean. I clutter. I always have things I put everywhere. Just the effort you will put to clean, to meditate, already the meditation you'll notice have begun already. Quiet place, as to your best ability. You can go sit under a tree if you want. There's a lot of distractions, huh? Birds are annoying, bugs are annoying, and this sun is shining in parts of your body you really don't want them to shine upon, and like then you want the sun and suddenly there's a cloud. Now you cannot move because you're supposed to be meditating. There's just so much. I would say first stay home or inside a retreat cabin. We are not built for outside anymore. So you can read about previous masters who lived in cave, but that's not, no. Years ago when I met with some monks from my monastery, and they told me, "Oh, very good. Now you should come back. Your cave we kept it exactly like before." I thought, oh, I don't want to cave anymore. Yeah. So, but that's important. A place is really important. Then food is so important. What you eat and drink. It's that if you eat something heavy, you're going to be sleepy, you're going to be dull. That's how it is. If your food is too light, you'll be very agitated. Your heartbeat will be sort of prominent. It's too many thoughts. Your thoughts will run everywhere. Tibetans, they like to say the wind will be higher, too high. And what else? And so when you find yourself, too much thought, a lot of thoughts, you're going to have a bit of food that brings you, sort of centers you, put some weight, or if you're dull. This is really in the meditation manual. It's 1,000 years old. Drink tea, says the teachers. Drink strong tea, because that's what they had. Whatever helps you. Of course, shouldn't be addictive, but Jemez advised me to drink green tea. I thought it will not work, but I thought, well, why not? It does work somehow. If I drink strong green tea, it wakes me up. Coffee doesn't work. But whatever works for you. Clothes. Since your meditation is breathing, so make sure it's not too tight, your especially belt, and pants if you're wearing, whatever. Really, these are so important. If you're getting sleepy, take off some layers. Maybe you have too much layers on. If you are then posture, so important. I think this is something I'm sure, you all meditate a lot, I'm sure, so okay, this is what the sutra says about posture. Maybe that's better. the path of purification says, herein, crosswise, is the sitting position with the thighs fully locked, folded, having locked. Set his body erect. Now he's explaining the words in the sutras that says, then the monk set his body erect, having placed the upper part of the body erect with the 18 backbones resting end to end. For when he is seated like this, his skin, flesh, and sinews are not twisted, and so the feelings that would arise moment by moment, if they were twisted, do not arise. That being so, his mind becomes unified, and the meditation subject, instead of collapsing, attains to growth and increase. Gosh, this is such difficult English for me. But yeah, basically, body should not come in the way. Sitting straight, everything balanced, so you do not really notice it then. Conduct. This one is really difficult for us. Conduct for a meditator. Don't speak too much. Don't speak too loudly. Speak when you must also, but do not engage in too much gossip. Definitely not to engage in actively harming others or blindly running after things that you so desire. And so things like that, all of these conducts. Because this is training the mind. We're trying to transform the mind, so you cannot sort of fix it for 10 minutes and then let it go. Leave it unguarded for the rest of the 24 hours and then try to fix it for 10 minutes. It will have impact, yes, but will take a long time. Anyway, please then sit again. Object of meditation is the same. You're breathing. Air passing through your nostril, in and out. This time, try to pinpoint where is the contact strongest. Is it at the beginning of the nostrils, in the middle, or inside? Let's do that. Thank you.
Rinpoche, do you have any advice for dealing with impatience?
Hmm?
Any advice for dealing with impatience? The thought that kept coming up was, when is this over? When is the next bit? When is lunch? That kind of thing.
Oh. Impatience. Shamatha, I think, just what we are doing. Also, maybe to understand that our plans are not that important. You know, it's just importance. I guess since we cannot live without something important. We must give importance to something. So that has to change, I think. And when you meditate, you know all these cheesy movies where mostly Hollywood movies, the big ones, the older ones, where the guy is like an underdog, is trying to fight the bigger guys, sort of punches him down, but he always gets up. And then the bigger guy's like, all right, you have heart or something, so there's sort of this kind of, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I say that? I don't know. I just forgot. Wait. Yeah. To place importance to when you place importance to mind training, then you have to have that kind of mentality that it might work now. You never know. It might work now. Like this kind of you also have to make sure we do not lose this sense of anything is possible. Sort of something miraculous. You never know. Maybe it is what is it? Maybe it is the 10th minute. That's when, or maybe it is the 60th minute of your meditation. That's when, for half a second, your focus will be so clear that it will sustain you for months and years. That joy and bliss that you get from that half a second. Just one inhalation, but it is so clean. I don't know. There's just so many methods actually. But when we're talking about Shamatha, I think it's a really, I remember Ajahn Chah used to tell people something like, if you have time, meditate for like half an hour. If you don't have time, meditate for 1 hour, something like that. When you don't have time, meaning something else is more important. But of course, one shouldn't force. These things have to come naturally, sort of in their own time. If you force things from now on, try to be very sort of rigid, you will become rigid. Then there's no growth. It's like someone who just wake up sort of just learned how to walk. Now taking part in the Olympics race, it doesn't work. You get frustrated and you blame everybody. It doesn't work. So if you get frustrated, notice, oh, I'm getting frustrated. Then be frustrated. What else can we do?
Relating to the posture. So if I can't hold the cross-legged posture as very long, my hips start hurting or something like that, then is there another recommended posture? Like, should you put your legs down and cross them at the bottom? Or is there any kind of replacement posture that you can do if you're getting old?
Yeah, it's not necessary to cross legs, by the way. It's really not. It's just that your body should not come in the way. Now, lying down, we fall asleep due to habit, so that's not good. But also the meditation you do lying down. Just that. So if you cannot sit cross-legged, just sit on a chair. Most important part of the body is this, what do you call this, like beneath your neck, torso, right? Yeah, thank you. Because lungs are there. If you like this, it's really you start also starts getting pain in your back when you're sitting a bit like this. Too much like that is also not good. You cannot breathe naturally if you're too sort of like this. Some people try and sit like this. So that's important if you can. But even then, Buddha's ways are so myriad, really. You can always choose another method. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you can continuously meditate sort of every day, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to 15 minutes every day, obviously it's really good. But even if you cannot, if you meditate when you want to, that's amazing, really. If you see that it's getting collected, you do sort of, okay, now we are talking about meditation and you think I should meditate. And you do this for like 3 days, 15 minutes, 3 days, and then it's gone. You feel it, but you don't have time or whatever. But then after a couple of months, you do this again, it will be like returning home, very familiar. Couple of 10, 20, 15 minutes for a couple of days. And then after 5 years, again, you sort of think, what am I doing with my life? And then you begin meditating again. It's good enough. It's good enough. You notice that you're no longer a beginner. What is happening is that you're building up frustration. Bit by bit by bit, you're thinking, I should meditate. Oh gosh, I should meditate. One day I am going to do that. And that frustration is really sort of preparing the ground for your meditation to happen much better than before. Right. Anybody else, please? It's good. Now I kind of have some idea what you guys are thinking.
I just wanted to ask, sometimes we've heard that during our practice that we should have our eyes partially open or looking down a little bit or looking at the tip of our nose or eyes closed. I always tend to want to close my eyes, but that is just me. So should we retrain ourselves to to keep them open in that process?
I have asked this actually to many teachers.
Huh.
Uluddin Khenchen Rinpoche, Jimmy Khenchen Rinpoche, they don't really care. So if you want to keep your eyes open, keep it open. If you want to close it, keep it closed. I think it's like that. It really is. But if your eyes are closed, it's easier to fall asleep though. And yeah, keep it closed if you want it closed. Keep it open if you want it open. Sometimes closed, sometimes open. Too much stress on discipline is also not good. If you stress too much on discipline, that becomes more important than the actual meditation. If your teacher tells you, you must keep your eyes open, your root gurus, keep it open. In Lamde tradition, in the Satyapa tradition, when you meditate using a blue flower, right? That's what we are taught. And this is so difficult. So you look at a blue flower and then you do not blink. You do not move a muscle in your eyelids. And then sort of the meditation sort of manual will say, first a lot of tears will fall and be very painful. You have to push through it, and I couldn't do it. I don't think it's for me, or at least I'm not ready for that. There's others like this kind of no need. The objective is to tame the mind, regard when you do it with eyes closed or eyes open. I don't think that's much of a difference, and teachers do not really seem to mind so much. It would be very strange to say, because Theravadins, many of them, they close their eyes and they meditate. And so are we going to say, that they do not know how to meditate, or their shamatha is not shamatha, or vipassana is not vipassana? So it should be fine either way.
So when I first started out using the blue flower, after a while, it would just disappear. And I thought for a minute there, I'm having some spiritual experience. So I told Dejan Rinpoche about it, and he said, your eyes are stressed. Your eyes will just stop seeing when you get tired, so just stop.
Yes, that happens. Also, things begin to mix. Have you had that when you keep looking at one spot and then sort of surrounding things kind of mixing up like a mishmash? Those are, I guess,
distracting though.
I think it's actually a very powerful method, but it is not for beginners, because this is Vajrayana Shamatha, sort of during Vajrayana initiations. And a person who is doing this supposedly have done practice sort of for a while, have already practiced for a long time. And by this time, the practice manual will tell you, look at the blue flower without blinking, without thinking about anything else, not even the blue flower, sort of just that. And that's, what is this? Without thinking about anything else, how are you supposed to do that?
I have another question, if you don't mind. So there's this place where you're getting sleepy, right? And that's pretty discernible that you're going to go to sleep any second. But there's this place where my mind just kind of goes, I don't know what it is. It's like dull, or I'm not thinking anything. It could seem that I'm doing something kind of wonderful, but it really is like nothing. So it's not even high awareness. It's just kind of a nothing. That's not a good thing, right?
It's dullness, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like knife without ability to cut. Not better than being distracted. You're kind of focusing on the breathing. Let's say right now, let's be talking about breathing. You kind of focus on the breathing, but within your focus, it is hijacked by this dullness. So it's like.
So it's best to just stop at that point and take a break.
Yes. Get up, stretch, yawn, whatever you have to do. Really. When it comes to practice, actually, it's so basic, fundamental. This is what you have right here. So then when we contemplate like this, concentrating on the breathing, your breathing, you'll notice becoming lighter and lighter and lighter. That's natural. Becoming softer. Breathing in, breathing out. Right now, there's what we just did when you're breathing in, trying to locate where is this sensation of air going in felt the most. And it could be anywhere. In the beginning, you will think it's the whole nostril, or it is the tip of the nostril. Perfect. Then you focus there. There, air is going in. It's going out. Just knowing that it's going in, it's going out. But now your mind is like a sentinel watching that spot in your nostril. When you do that, then it may move. It may not. So don't try to move it. Like, don't try to look for it. But since it's just, we're not meditating every day, So it's just now, I just throw everything on you in one session. So you might notice the point of strong point of contact is sort of moving inwards the longer you watch it. And you might even experience things that like sort of bliss or joy, or your body is very light. And you, by the way, those like one Michelle, you said it's difficult with sitting. Then you lie down, but like in this, the way Buddha lied down, like in the right, and then breathe like that. Locate first, watching where is the strongest contact, and after a while, it might happen that your breathing is so light, your mind becomes so soft and that subtle that your body is subtle too, and it's like a feather, like a feather or a cotton. Right now it's meat, it's the flesh, it's heavy, but not very subtle. Yeah, then sort of beginning of meditation now, like it's happening. But when that happens, going back to the technique, going back to just the watching, not getting lost in this now again, bliss or whatever. That's temporary, it doesn't last. And you will be stuck in that tiny pocket for years and years. And you will look for it when you're sitting. Let me get to that good, nice place. And you get there and you stay there with no, growth. Right.
Appreciate. What I think, it's just like an aside, but when we talk about no one really needs to know what we're doing, we could be sitting, as you said, on a train, on an airplane, in a car, or under a tree, or wherever we might sit for any length of time, momentary or longer. I think that's the beauty of the situation, really. The other thing that was related to what I said before, I notice sometimes, like if I have gone through very challenging situations, and sometimes in that kind of scenario, then I do for a moment, drop back. I might close my eyes, but you do try to balance, especially if it's anger or something like that, or someone is having trying to engage in an argument, something like that. So I appreciate that, but I notice when I do that, then I do kind of tend to close my eyes a bit. So, it's just my own observation, but it's very good technique, right? For any kind of a situation that arises, whether it's anger or desire or ignorance is not so easy to find or easy to pinpoint.
Yeah. Yeah, right now, our meditation is it's the beginning. If you are like me, then it is at the beginning. Then it needs protection. It cannot be used to fight these strong emotions right now. And so you need to protect it. You need to set time for it and cultivate it. And as it becomes stronger and stronger, anyway, when your concentration gets better, anger subsides, desire becomes less. That's just how it is. It's just mind cannot do both. Not be distracted and then also have a lot of desire and anger and jealousy. It's just because that is the distraction. So it cannot, it's the very natural thing to be. All right. Let's sit then. Again, object of meditation is same. Your breathing. More specifically, the sensation within your nostrils, sensation of breathing out and breathing in. This is a bit easier for us because it is tangible. The one we did before with the counting, it's not tangible. In a way, Well, it is, but not like this. This one is based on sensation of it. And you might even notice that when you're breathing in, your nostrils become cool. And there's this sensation of coolness. You're breathing out warmth. Just watch those things and then breathe. Thank you. She wants to say hi.
Hello.
Hallo.
Hello.
Musst du zu Hause?
Nee, Papa, ich gucke doch noch Fußball.
Okay, viel Spaß. They're watching football. Right. I don't know what else to say or do with you guys now. If you have questions, please come forth.
So a lot of my job is writing computer code, and I don't know sometimes whether or not it's meditative or more distracting. It reminds me of like complex sadhanas where you're visualizing and holding these whole worlds in your head, and in 3 different pages at once, and everything's all over the place. At one hand, it feels like it's strengthening the mind because it's like doing mathematics, and you have to do really intense logic. But then at the end of a day, my mind is like completely tired. So I don't know whether I'm doing good things or bad things.
Motivation. If you have the motivation to use your work as meditation. That becomes meditation. Now, shamatha, two types of shamatha. The kind of one shamatha we're doing here is jogum. Jogum is basically like this is the mind, so on the object. That's it. Mind on the object. That doesn't sort of. Then shargum. When you're doing sadhanas, like you're meditating, focusing, but from the refuge, and then there is all kinds of whatever visualization you have to do. There's also shamatha practice, but it's not sort of. It's more focused on clarity than the calm abiding of it. Yeah, surely. If you have to deal with numbers all day, that's your meditation. If you have to deal with speaking with the people, that's your meditation. If you have to deal with whatever, selling something, buying something, there is really like nothing that you cannot use as object of meditation. And it should be like that. I remember reading somewhere where there was a very, very beautiful queen, famous all over the kingdom and all the neighboring kingdoms of her beauty, that she's so beautiful. And sort of her yeah, and one of her maid who has seen her naked, basically sees her naked every day, while preparing bath for her and sort of attending to her, told her she would tell her husband every day how the queen is today. Oh, she was sitting in the moonlight. It was so beautiful, like a goddess, and so on. So he got so obsessed. He wanted to see her naked, and he begged his wife, please, just once. I just want to have a peek. And this is dangerous. It's a queen. You could get killed. But her husband, he was just so much obsessed. She said, fine. So then you hide somewhere. So she hid him. And then the queen came, as usual. She came back to her chamber and she changing her clothes and everything. And he saw her completely naked. And that stopped his thoughts. He stopped. Then he vanished. No one could find him for years. What had happened then was he no longer knew how, things that he liked before didn't make sense. Doesn't feel like getting angry at anything. No jealousy. He just walk around, just sitting, meditating. And then finally, the wife found him one day under a tree in deep meditation. Really. And then the queen came. He became a famous yogi. So the queen herself thought we must pay respect to, So she came and she was bowing down to him. And the Indian saris, so this sari fell down and sort of parts of her bodies were visible. But now no effect on him anymore. You just sit there watching like that. So you really don't know. Tilopa became Mahasiddha by crushing sesame seed, because his teachers, I think he was a king. No, not a king, but anyway, he was sent by his teacher. His teacher had many sort of famous students like kings and so on. But then he would tell him, now you go and be sort of a servant of whatever this family. Some he sent to be servants of special ladies, who have a lot of gentlemen coming in every day, so they have to clean and serve. And then Tilupa's job was he was sent to a place. I think he was sent like that to basically to be a servant of a prostitute. And then one of his jobs was to make sesame oil. So he's beating the sesame seed, and it's all black in the beginning, the black sesame seed with the skin. And as he beats, the white sesame inside comes out. Then more and more he keeps beating, and then the oil begins to sort of trickle down. And that he took as his own mind, as the rough, coarse mind is sort of removed. And then like that, you never know. You could be, modern day Mahasiddha with your computer work. I'm really serious. Yeah.
Especially now when I'm making a point to learn more about the disciplines. So it's not just writing, and it's keeping things loosely coupled and keeping engineering mindsets. So you're actually having to be mindful of everything that you write. Is it correct? And are you doing this correctly?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, but there is motivation that makes it virtuous or not. You could have like a serial killer who has sort of such good visualization of what he's going to do, like this and that and that and that. Mindfulness, if that happens, I do this. If this happens, I do that. But that's not virtuous. Very focused though. So it's really the motivation. Yeah, you have the motivation that, I use this as your meditation, then sure.
It makes sense. Well, a number of months back, Kempo Pamela said, he's told me that you said your work is your Dharma practice.
Yes.
Or your work is your Dharma, at least.
Whatever you can use as the object of meditation. Anyway, today we're just talking about Shamatha. Yeah, it's not even talking about wisdom, but that which will allow wisdom to grow. But these things, you just have to do it.
Then Rinpoche, when we're doing the in-breath and then the out-breath, and we're focused upon where within the nostril, what our sensation is. And then at the same time, one of the distractions that came up was, okay, you're exhaling fully, but I'm following the exhalation to some imagined place. And then comes the space before the next inhalation. So there's the space. And the space, it's almost like, I want to be in that space for a moment, And is that another distraction?
Yes.
It is, yes.
Just, that's why I was suggesting to focus on one spot inside your nostril. That's like then like a bird that lives on a ship in the middle of the ocean. Can fly wherever he wants, but have to land on the ship. We cannot hold mind directly. So we bind it to that spot wherever your sensation is the most. And anyway, you also notice, oh, it's stronger in the right side, stronger in the left side today, stronger in the left, like that. These two, I think, yeah, when we do this, we notice more and more. You really have to be able to celebrate it though. Let's say you sit for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's not a lot. 5 minutes. YouTube videos, there's like at least 1 minute or 2 minutes of advertisement in between that we have to sit through sometimes. It's irritating, So, and in these 5 minutes, say you could focus only during the 4th minute for like 1 second, that you should celebrate it. It's really good. It's a brick that you're using to build something. Not to expect. Sometimes it will go very well. Relax. It's just today. It went well. I don't know tomorrow. They have been now. On the plus side, the good side, when you practice Shamatha, then you gain something. You can gain something called dhyana. That is you no longer depend on external food. I'm serious. No longer need things like sleeping. Cory Rinpoche said he actually wanted to. I asked him. I said, "Oh, I can send you to Burma, some places where Rinpoche went there, and as just a normal person, and they put him working in their kitchen, and he said he was just chopping cabbage from 7 till 11, and there he saw so many of these. Forget about the monks and the nuns who are just meditating, or youngsters who get up, who sleep for about 2 to 3 hours. Now, this is the sounds weird part, and who drinks, who eats like 1 spoonful of rice and drinks like 1 glass of milk. That's all they need in the whole day. And they're working, they're chopping wood and bringing water. So then that kind of very blissful state is also possible. But then within few months and years, you could be a terrible person also, because it's just a technique. Right now, you are preparing for the mind to get tamed, but it's really nothing really done. It's like you're just teaching it not to get distracted. But the cause of distraction is not removed yet. You're just not getting distracted. That's all. And then we've also had great meditators who could basically sit for days, but then become robbers and terrible person in their later part of their life. That's possible too. So not to be too happy when you experience some good dreams, or sometimes you have feelings something will happen and it exactly happens, and this happens again and again. Just relax. All right. Thank you so much for agreeing to for me to talk about shamatha because for myself, more I talk about it, more I am forced to think about it. And it's really, really necessary. I asked one of my teachers, Jimmy Kinser Rinpoche, I asked him one day, what do I do if I really want to be helpful to others? And he said, we have to meditate at least an hour a day. And this is not the sadhana part. Now that you have to do however many hours it takes, but just sort of samatha, at least an hour a day. I didn't promise that I will do it, so I'm happy about it actually. But every time I go to see him, it's interesting. So yes, please try to think about it, and then sit sometimes whenever you can. Just watch your breathing when you're walking sometimes, or when you're sitting, talking. Definitely when you're meditating or you're lying down to sleep, watch your breathing. And I think so many things will be revealed in time. Right. So I think it is almost settled now that I will come in September. I'm waiting on my visa. If everything goes well, then I see some of you in Santa Fe. I really like
Yes,
that place.
Rinpoche. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for liking it.
It
I
has
was
a
I was thinking also when you were talking before about, okay, sitting under a tree or sitting under the forest, or whether we sit in a very clean space, within our own dwelling, protected. So I know that it will be, what would you say, very auspicious at the time when you come, and also for any others and yourself, of course, who might come, if they can allow themselves to take the time, since we're right in the national forest, that we can, experience that quietude that you do not necessarily have within the city. And also, there are some, natural hot springs and different kinds of. The area here is so funny. It's called La Cueva, which means the cave. So one of our friends, Willie and Kim, they're determined to find, where is this cave? What is it named after? But we do have caves, so we can do a little exploration, or people can do a little exploration, take a little extra time on their own once they come out here. And then Santa Fe, of course, is a great cultural center. So it will be so wonderful. We're so happy that you're coming.
Yeah. It's the land feels like still connected to some nice things.
Oh yes.
All right.
Okay, Rinpoche, thank you very, very
Thank you
much.
very much. Take care of
Would
yourselves.
Oh, of course. Dorje, would you like to say anything in closing? I'm not sure.
To unmute yourself.
Oh yeah.
Never said like sunke kogumandula. I think we all understand.
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
Do you have it, Dorje?
We're all good.
Tesla Rinpoche,
So,
Kusu Debo,
Jethaji, let us delay.
any chip of Gola Jayon, Ripe Abuchunso,
So then Jobo Jayo.
Any Kusu Tujanango,
Lasso.
any Tujichena,
That's all like a did.
that's the